It is 9:45 p.m. Pacific time, Wednesday, March 12th, and I am becoming increasingly concerned that Senate Democrats are up to some serious bullshit. You and I and every other person who is concerned about saving our democracy, we are going to have to take action. It is time for boots on necks. So earlier today, I posted a video after it seemed like Senate Democrats were coming together and forming a unified front to oppose the continuing resolution. Republicans in Congress, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they are all in charge. And so if the government shuts down, it's their fault. They are in charge. This is their mess, and Democrats should not be offering assistance to help clean it up, especially when that assistance involves handing over the authority of Congress to unelected ketamine addict Elon Musk. A government shutdown would be a bad thing for every American, but allowing Elon Musk and Donald Trump to complete their coup and destroy American democracy would be 10,000 times worse. Right, so I had this optimistic video that I put out in the afternoon when Chuck Schumer said on the floor that they were prepared for a shutdown, that they were not going to vote for the continuing resolution. And I was like, I think that the establishment Democrats in the Senate, they might be growing a little bit of a spine, or at least listening to the overwhelming number of calls from constituents that came through today. The lines were jammed up for a big chunk of the day. But then this evening, I started to see a number of concerning posts on Blue Sky. And I started getting this sinking feeling in my stomach, and I did a little reading. So a number of accounts with much larger followings than mine were starting to say they were concerned that Senate Democrats were trying to fake out their own constituents. I kept seeing a number of posts, including this one by John Marshall, who is from Talking Points Memo, saying CW that means conventional wisdom, which basically means the rumor mill says that Dems are trying to fool their own base and intend to vote for cloture. If true, this betrayal of their voters would be unfathomably foolish complicity with fascism. And I'm like, of course, we gotta call right now. We gotta call. Let's get back to those Blue Sky posts from Josh Marshall. This is a Talking Points Memo guy. He says that Schumer's speech was a head fake, that it is the Democratic caucus in the Senate trying to fool their own supporters. Sorry to say, but that's what's happening. He says the plan seems to be to vote for cloture, and then Thune agrees as his part of the bargain to allow a vote on basically an amendment to the bill. So Democrats would allow for a cloture vote, essentially giving up their 60-vote threshold. Cloture is where you say, we're ending debate on this. There's not going to be any filibuster. We're going to go ahead and vote. And that would allow for a vote to come to the floor for the continuing resolution, and it would get pushed through. Marshall goes on to explain that this is basically an attempt to obfuscate and to make it look to the voters like, oh, we Democrats, we tried something. And if that's what they're doing, it almost worked on me. I really thought that they were going to grow a backbone and they were going to have some strategy that was not just let's posture like we're doing something and then fall back on decorum and procedure and pretend like there is still any way that we can work with folks on the other side of the aisle who are literal fascists. Right now, Senate Democrats have the upper hand. They have the 60-vote threshold. It would be unfucking believably foolish of them to throw it away, to hand it over to Republicans, to hand it over to Elon Musk. I know that you and I and so many other folks around the country spent a chunk of our day on the phone pressuring Democrats in Congress, pressuring Chuck Schumer to not allow this continuing resolution to go forward, letting them know that as bad as a government shutdown is, they cannot buckle, they cannot bend the knee to fascism. I really, really felt there was some cause for hope and optimism. And I said in my last video, I hope I'm not jinxing it by saying it out loud. But if this is indeed what the Democrats are planning, what Chuck Schumer is planning, it would be the ultimate betrayal of their voters. They're jerking us around, they're playing games with us, and it's going to cost us our democracy. So we need to have our boots on their necks. So let me read a little bit here from Talking Points Memo so that you understand better exactly what fuckery they might be getting up to and why we need to stop it. Okay, this is Talking Points Memo by Amin Youssel. This came out at 6 o'clock this evening, so I did not see it because I've had a very busy evening until hours after I posted my optimistic video. With less than 3 days to go before the government funding runs out, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for a vote on a 30-day continuing resolution that top Democrat appropriators unveiled Monday night. Okay, I gotta move my camera to this side, sorry. The guidance from the Democratic leader comes as Senate Democrats struggle with how to move forward after House Republicans shoved through the Trump-backed 7-month continuing resolution on Tuesday. Some Senate Democrats have expressed a willingness to work with Republicans to avert a shutdown. The thing is that Republicans were not willing to work with them. They shut them out of all of the negotiations. Most of the party was opposed to helping Republicans as the Trump administration and Elon Musk continue to flout congressional spending appropriations. They are usurping the power of Congress, violating the Constitution. They're illegally rescinding funding for federal agencies and shuttering programs that they don't have a right to close. And so I was excited because Schumer had said, and I quote, "I hope our Republican colleagues will join us to avoid a shutdown on Friday." I was like, oh yeah, okay, Democrats, they are ready to pull the switch. I mean, not even. All they have to do is just say, Republicans, you don't have the votes. This is you. You're the leaders. You're in charge. So if the government is shutting down, it is a failure of your leadership. You are in charge of both houses and the White House. It is not the job of Democrats to save them. This is a problem Republicans have made by choosing not to work with Democrats, by choosing to align themselves with a fascist dictator and abdicate their role as the legislative branch, their assigned duties in the Constitution. So Democrats need to let the GOP face the consequences of their actions. Okay, here's the rub, though. Schumer wants to put through a short-term continuing resolution that would keep the government funded through April 11th, giving the negotiators on the Appropriations Committee more of a chance to come up with a bipartisan plan. How would that happen if Republicans are shutting Democrats out every step of the way? So this is what we really need to understand. A 30-day continuing resolution would almost certainly fail if the Republican-controlled Senate were to vote on it. And on the off chance it did succeed, it would not survive a vote on the House floor. So what Chuck Schumer is now proposing is never going to pass, and he knows it. It is an empty gesture. It's their chance to be like, oh, look, voters, we tried something. Please believe that it was a genuine gesture and that we're actually trying, even though it never stood a snowball's chance in. Okay, let me read. Locked out of power, the short-term resolution and the push for a bipartisan spending bill is believed to be part of a messaging effort by Democrats who want to be able to say they did not roll over and accept the MAGA funding bill that House Republicans and President Donald Trump are shoving down their throats. See, it's an empty gesture. In order to even look at this 30-day bill, they would have to move for cloture on the current debate, and that would allow the Republicans in the Senate plus John Fetterman to go ahead and pass the continuing resolution sent to them by the House with a simple majority. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia said, I think there's a pretty consistent theme that we want to get amendments, and we think that we are entitled to get an amendment vote, and we're not going to support cloture until we get that. Kaine added that if Republicans want the procedural votes from Democrats, they need to allow Democrats amendment votes that they know will fail. They just want it recorded in the record. They don't actually want to stop what is going to happen. A continuing resolution may enable more firings, but closing the government may be even more welcome to Elon Musk. So this is what my senator said, like, oh, Elon Musk, he wants a government shutdown, so we definitely should be against anything that he wants. They think it will give him an excuse to fire more people. However, passing the continuing resolution would give him carte blanche to destroy Social Security. It would lend credibility to his actions, and I fear it would undercut court cases. If Congress says, go for it, Elon, keep violating the Constitution. You go, boy. Go whole hog. We're not going to stop you. By the way, we're also going to cut healthcare funding for our veterans who were poisoned by burn pits and Agent Orange. We won't stop y'all from pushing that stuff through. Just let us have these, this posture of an amendment vote that we know is never going to go anywhere. Because we think that our voter base are too fucking stupid and too fucking weak. And they'll be like, oh, we definitely think y'all tried. Like, how foolish do they think we are? So Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut comes out and says it. He says, we worry that Elon Musk is going to blame everything on us, is going to blame the firings on Democrats. Says, I'm leaning toward voting no on the resolution because I think it creates a slush fund for Donald Trump without any real guardrails or accountability to Congress. No shit it does. We would be ceding the power of the person that way. Of course, that is exactly what you would be doing, which is why you cannot allow it to happen, Democrats. And that is why we cannot allow it to happen. So call now, call as many times as you need to today. Call everybody, call all the Democrats, call Chuck Schumer. No fucking way are they going to play us, the American electorate, like this. Do they not understand how foolish it would be? They would be destroying the Democratic Party. Any trust or hope that we had in them would be obliterated if they did this. I apologize for being cautiously optimistic. Do not extend trust to them. It is boots on neck. Call.